Hello, this is Brett. This is a quick walkthrough of our 5-phase OKR workshop. A couple of key things. 5 phases. Some clients can do this as quickly as 5 days, depending on their starting point. Some clients, of course, take longer. Secondly, it's a workshop. It's about transferring our skill set into your organization so that you can repeat this yourself, but also grow and maintain it in a more viable fashion. 5 phases. First phase, leadership team takes about half a day. And what we're going to do with the leadership team is capture your existing strategy and priorities and put it on a strategy map. So each objective and how important it is for this year. Now, you'll have to revisit that every quarter because, of course, the world changes or when major events occur in your marketplace or the broader world. And then attach onto that your existing targets, the committed targets that exist in budgets and operation plans and so forth. Now, that gets passed to what I'm going to call the performance team. So to your direct reports, high potential people in the organization. And what they're going to do is first off what we call an ontology. The ontology is an organizing structure for your organization. On the left, we put those strategic objectives and weightings. And across the top, we put your core processes. And the idea is we score the impact of each process on each objective. I'll give you an example. So for operations, in terms of their impact, they said we have an impact of 2 out of 5. So 5 being we're critical, 0, no impact. They give themselves a score of 2 out of 5 on the objective of increase ease of scripting that has a 7% weighting. So this cell is just 7 times 2, 7% weighting, 2 impact, 14 strategy points. The next one down, as an example, is impact score of 3 against a weighting of 14, so a score of 42. And then down here as an example, and here we have 4 times 19 or 76 strategy points. So we can clearly figure out where the most important areas for our focus are. Impact times weighting tells us the critical performance nodes. So anywhere in this chart where there's a black box, that's a critical performance node. So for example, if I were working in finance, I'd need to have obviously an objective or key result on my contribution to shareholder value, accelerating product development, and developing high performance workforce. In operations, like we just saw, we need to make sure that we have an OKR around selling more prescriptions, aligning our processes to customer needs, and so forth. So this ontology allows us to figure out accurately how we cascade from the corporate level down to a department, and then within the department you can repeat this process to go down to team and individual level. It also allows us to see horizontally the cross-functional teams that we need to assemble to solve problems. So this ontology becomes critical for our work here in OKRs. It helps you in other ways too. So for example, you're obviously going to put your best people on the black nodes. You're going to be most concerned about competency and capacity on those black nodes and so forth. And it also allows you to be more agile because if leadership changes their weighting, let's say we throttle back on product development from 19 down to 5 and we accelerate ease of scripting. Well, these blacks go away and new blacks appear. So in this way, you can set the direction of the organization. So as events occur quarter to quarter or major events in your markets, you can send guidance quickly and cascade it down the organization accurately. Then we can identify those key results on those black nodes. We're going to harvest from your existing data, measures, and therefore in most cases, literally the last 3,500 cases we've done, there's always some indicator or the other immediately available. Let's talk about what an OKR is for a second. It's just a verb, noun, key result, target, and date. So for example, for this organization, they wanted to accelerate their product development cycle. And so obviously they're going to measure the number of clin studies and how fast they can get those done. And the idea was to get 5 million done in Q1, another 5,500,000 in Q2, and then a miracle is going to happen in Q3. Somehow they're going to accelerate up to over 7.5 million in Q3, and then a minor improvement in Q4. Now, to make that happen, they've got to work cross-functionally. So in this case, they're going to develop their skill set, their competencies around doing multi-step trials. And the idea is to accelerate that program so that by the time they were in Q4, they can run 10-step cycles at the same time. Finally, they're going to set up a system where they can more accurately both schedule and track these trials, because one of the constraints was just getting the right people at the right place at the right time. So Q1, they're doing sort of an agile format. So Q1, design, develop, Q2, design, development, and then launch in Q3. And it's the ability to launch the scheduling system with hitting critical mass on the trials that allow them this step function increase. So this OKR not only tells us the objective and key results, tells us how we plan on progressing during the quarter, but also aligns cross-functionally so we know where we need support from to achieve these objectives. So that's what we can get done by literally the end of phase 3. What that means is we can then begin to capture the specific objectives, link back those key results that we identified in the previous step, and then identify the cross-functional nature of work that we need to get done. And in this way, we have everything we need to build your tool. So by day 3, we should be able to begin building out our solution in some software tool. This example happens to be John Doerr's package BetterWorks, which allows us to drill down by organization, see my department, see my team, see my individual results. And finally, the last step is how to use this tool to manage better. So phase 5 is teaching your teams how to run more effective meetings, giving training and coaching on those weekly meetings, monthly meetings, helping understand how to do that quarterly refresh or as required. And then finally, that annual bigger step change. So overall, we need the leadership team for about 4 or 5 hours across the week. What they're going to do is help us do that launch session and build a strategy map. Their direct reports and high potential people will build out the system. If you want a midpoint review, and then on Friday, receiving the finalized solution. So that's a quick run through of our OKR process. There are other videos that go into more detail on each step and give you more pharma case examples. Thanks for your time.